Soaring through the cold expanse of space and laying siege to battle cruisers and space stations, the 1054th Vostroyan Firstborn Regiment, the Void Shrikes, are truly one of the most unique regiments in all of 40k. I'm Joe, this is Windrush Wargamers, and this is how I made Void Shrikes for my Warhammer 40k kill team. Along with the fact that the Vostroyan Firstborn Regiment has always been aesthetically pleasing to me, I felt like the Void Shrikes would make a very unique and cool looking kill team. So the base for these conversions is going to be the Tempestus Scions box. Now these are great because they offer very ornate looking armour in keeping with the unique style of the Vostroyan Firstborn Regiment, but also it gives a more airtight feel to the armour. Instead of the greatcoats and the chainmail and everything, it needs to look like it could theoretically survive in space. Now it's not specifically stated that they are any kind of elite troop other than the fact that they engage in void combat. I'm going to be playing these as Scions for the basis that they feel more elite than a regular troop. With their main armour done, I need to move on to their rebreather masks. Now these are issued to Void Strikes so they can engage in void combat and void sieges, so they need to look like they could survive in space for a little bit of time. So I knew I wanted a mix going in of some that were on the face still and some that were on the side, like they're just taking them off after landing. This gave me a great example to make everything unique, just like the charm of the Vostroyan Regiment themselves. So they will make and have heirloom weapons and armour that they hand down from generation to generation whilst they're serving as a Vostroyan Firstborn. And I feel like their masks should be no different to that. So I went to Age of Sigmar for some inspiration. Age of Sigmar is a great way to find more unique and old antique style weapons and armour. And I must say I was tempted by some of the human races, but what really caught my eye was the Karajan Overlord. That's because of how industrious yet ornate they all look, which really was in keeping with the Vostroyans, as they have close ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus. So all I did was go on eBay, buy a lot which had a few spare parts on it, 2 heads and a bunch of weapons, and I ended up using both of those heads to be fitted on one. I chopped the beard off as it got a little bit too ridiculous. The other one I kept on because it's nice and neat. So for the other ones I press molded a mask from the Scion kit, and I used 2 masks from the Goliath gang from Necromunda. So moving on to the heirloom weapons, there was many things I did with this, and they're all very simple. So using that same Karajan Overlords, I replaced gun barrels, I replaced pistol grips, I replaced anything to make the standard Scion weapons look a little bit more unique. You know, and that goes for making, you know, basket hilted power swords, giving a more ornate hilt to the chainsword. I also had to go slightly heretical by using the daggers from the Chaos Space Marines and also the Chaos Cultists to act as bayonets. And inspired by this piece of artwork in particular, I gave an axe head to be used as a kind of bayonet, I suppose. This was to give them all variation, make them all look unique, and look like they were heirlooms and hand-me-downs that had been modified and improved over time. And moving on to the last conversion technique I used was to make the hats. Now the hats are completely synonymous with the Vostroyan Firstborn, so I knew it was something that I definitely needed to include. So this is a technique I used on all my characters. It works on the very big Bullgrin or a little Rain and Rouse there. All it requires is for you to drill a hole in the head, put a piece of wire in there. That's to keep it strong, keep it sturdy, build up some milliput around it, and then add fur texture using green stuff. And that's really all it is to it. Once you paint it, it resembles fur. So the last thing I did was just add some paint. I used silver with a gold trim inspired by these pieces of art here. That was because there was no real room for the chainmail. I thought to get a good contrast I would use the silver and gold. That's all I did really, it's as simple as that. So all that remains for me to do now is to thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more stuff like this and let me know what you think in the comments below.